opportunity to live in a country where we have the freedoms and the rights that we do have. Lord, we just pray that you be with us through this meeting here tonight and help us to make the best decisions for the people of Hart County. We come to you now thanking you for your protection and your guidance for our law enforcement last night in the situation that they were involved with. We're thankful that no one was hurt in our law enforcement, and we just pray, Lord, that you would be with these families that's lost loved ones. Lord, we just pray that you'd be with them. Lord, we just pray for our military across the foreign fields and here in the homeland. Lord, we just pray for safety upon these. And Lord, we just ask that you be with our EMS, fire departments, and all our emergency services, and keep your hand of safety upon them. And go with us now through this meeting. In that name we pray. Amen.
Amen. This time I'd like to ask everyone to stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. This time I'll call to order the Tuesday, January 8, 2020 meeting of the Hart County Board of Commissioners. First item of business tonight will be to approve the agenda. Any changes?
No changes.
Can I get a motion that we approve the agenda as stated?
Second.
I have a motion by Commissioner Carter, a second by Commissioner Teasley. Any more discussion? Public comment? Not all in favor, raise your right hand. Motion carried unanimously. Next item on the agenda is to approve the minutes of the previous meetings. You got the January 14, 2020 meeting minutes in your packet. If there are no changes or corrections, can I get a motion that we approve?
I make a motion we approve the 114 regular meeting minutes.
I'll give you a second.
I have a motion by Commissioner Teasley and a second by Commissioner Carter to approve the January 14, 2020 minutes as printed. Any more discussion? Public comment? Not all in favor, raise your right hand. Motion carried unanimously. Next item on the agenda is remarks by invited guests, committees, and authorities. As our practice has been in the past and we continue to do, we like to have celebrations for our county employees whenever they get ready to enter into that great world of retirement. At this time, I'm going to ask commissioners if they'll come down. We want to recognize Mr. Joe Brantley. He's here with us. Joe, if you'll come down. Greg, your guys, if y'all come down.
Okay.
Get your picture.
Oh, yes, it's going to be up to Karen.
Joe, on behalf of the Hart County Board of Commissioners, we want to present you with this plaque for 6 years of service and dedication to the Hart County Transfer Station. We appreciate all your efforts. You've always been a go-to guy and take care of things for us, and we will miss you. And we wish you the best in your future endeavors.
Thank you, sir. Thank you all.
Thank you, Jimmy.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate it.
Appreciate it. Yes, sir.
Good to see you, Greg.
We good?
You picture?
Oh, no. Come on back, guys. See what it's doing.
Wow.
Second evening. Appreciate it. Y'all have a good evening.
Okay, next item on the agenda is remarks by invited guests, committees, and authorities. We don't have anyone. Item 8, reports by constitutional officers and department heads. Mr. Gordon.
Mr. Chairman, the matters I have will be covered a lot later in the agenda.
Okay. County Administrator's report.
All ahead, I'd like to echo the thanks for all the help we had last night. We had, best I could count, about 80 folks out there last night were from all agencies. Hart County, Hartwell PD, DNR, GSP, Department of Parole, DMVS, City of Royston, Franklin County, Everett County.
That's pretty good.
and everything went as well as it could go under the circumstances. And I just want to echo my appreciation for everybody. Other than that, that's all I have.
Chairman's report, I want to echo the county administrator's words. Those situations are not pleasant, but fortunately, nobody else was hurt. I want to talk about a service that the Board of Commissioners offers through our 911 system, and that's called Code Red. This was utilized last night to send out a message to everybody in an affected area that there was an active shooter loose. We also use Code Red for weather emergencies. If you don't have it, I strongly encourage you to go to the Board of Commissioners website, and on the front page, on the left-hand side, down next to the bottom, there's a Code Red emergency alerts. Sign up for that. It is well worth the 5 minutes of your time, if that it takes to do it. You will get weather emergencies. You will be notified of things in advance. We used it last night to send out the message about the shooter at large, and then after the suspect was in custody, we sent it out. So everybody who subscribed knew exactly what was going on, and having that information out there. So it is a great tool, and it's also great for weather-related issues as well. But strongly encourage you, if you don't have it, to sign up for it. That's all I have under Chairman's report. Commissioner's report, District 2.
I want to echo the same thing. I appreciate the job and our law enforcement, first responders, EMS, our county employees are doing. Also, I get these things in my box, like where litter's been picked up on roads. Appreciate the details that we're getting from Whitworth. And I talked to Randall a little day, and we've been getting them regular, and that's good. That's what we want to get, and I really appreciate that. Also, I know last Thursday night, the chamber recognized their business and employees. People in the community, volunteers that got awards, and I want to congratulate the businesses and the volunteers that got awards, and I appreciate the job that they do, and that's all I got.
Okay. District 3.
Well, I'd like to also say I'd like to commend our law enforcement agencies. I know there's several different ones that were involved, and it's great to have a community where everybody comes together and helps each other out. And it's unfortunate, but the whole world's not that way. But we live in a community where surrounding communities, we all believe in helping each other. And like I said, I appreciate all the efforts that our emergency services do for us in this county. And like Chairman said, that this Code Red, it does not cost anything. And if you get confused about how to download the app or whatever, because everybody's not as savvy on these phones like the chairman is right here, but just come by here and see our smiling T.I. Lisa Carledge, IT. Sometimes I get a little dyslexic, but anyway.
Some of us ain't real savvy.
Well, she's it, okay? IT, TI, whatever, okay? But if you come by, I'm sure she'll be glad to help you. She's helped a lot of other folks get hooked up with this, but we appreciate, because you're helping out our emergency service when they can inform you. And that's all I have.
Okay. District 4.
Hey, I'm gonna say the same thing. I appreciate everybody coming together and working for a common goal and getting the job done. So, thanks to everybody involved. I don't want to leave nobody out.
Okay.
Also got a issue I want to talk about on Lankford Road. That road, it was covered up with chip seal, and on these rainy, dark nights we have, you can't see nothing on that road. We need to figure out some way we can fix these problems.
Yeah, well, I got a grant money to do that with. I just ain't got the bid out yet. And I'll take responsibility for that. I just ain't had time to get to do that.
I thought that was one of the roads that was going to be resurfaced.
It is.
This year.
Right. Yeah, it'll be in the paving this year,
Yeah,
but
but
we also got striping money for most of the roads we've got too.
But, you know, I don't know how long it's gonna be before we can pave it, but it's a danger
Well,
to the traveling public.
we got a lot of roads
That's a major thoroughfare
Yeah,
over there.
it is, and I hope we get the bids out in time to start paving, start late spring, this coming spring.
Well, it sort of brings up what we talked about in the past, of having some way that we can do something temporarily till we can get.
Yeah, I agree with you. But like I say, I'll check in on it and see. I think we got to send that whole bid out at a time. That's what takes so long as get. It's virtually every road we've got. We've got money to stripe, and you got to have every road broken down into exact measurements. So we're working on that. We're probably 50% done, and we'll keep working till we get it out.
All right, thank you.
Okay.
That's all I got, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, now we'll move into old business, item 12, advertisement for bids for protective net replacement on the Elberton Highway ball fields. This was tabled at our January 14th meeting. Can I get a motion that we take it off the table?
I make that motion.
Second.
Have a motion by Commissioner Teasley, and a second by Commissioner Carter to take it off the table. All in favor, raise your right hand. Motion carried unanimously.
All right, basically, we take it back, and when we added things in that y'all said we need to have in it, and I certainly agree with everything. Jim has made a sketch there that's entered into it at Exhibit A that gives a rough measurement and a drawing of the endpoints of where the netting to be extended to. It still requires the bidder to come in and do their own measurements. We want them to bid on their numbers and not ours. There was a question about the fasteners for the netting that's specified in these bid package. And other than that, I think we're ready for it to go out to bid.
Okay. Can I get a motion that we approve this and send it out to
So
bid?
move.
Have a motion by Commissioner Carter. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Commissioner Sayer. Any more discussion? Public comment? Not all in favor, raise your right hand. Motion carried unanimously. That completes our old business. Moving into new business. Item 13A, authorization to advertise for bids for FY20 ambulance replacement.
Yeah, we haven't replaced an ambulance per se in the last 5 years. We've had some engine trouble with some of them we had, and we've replaced the engine, which has bought us more time. But we got to the point now where we're getting kind of behind, so I need to get the bids out for a replacement. And we're looking at everything. The way we plan on doing it is a new ambulance to take the ones out that's been remounted before. The next one to remount on one boxes. These boxes are warranted for 20 years. They have to be refurbished in between, but the structural warranty is for 20 years, so we get 20 years of service out of the box. The remount is about 70 to 75% less expensive than the new one. So we've got two. We've got to change completely out. We thought we'd stagger them, one new one, one remount, another new one, another remount down the road to kind of offset the cost of them. But
Now, what you asking for today is.
we're gonna send them out for this.
Complete new ambulance.
Yeah, we got to get that one that's already been remounted out of service at the front line.
I'll make a motion, we advertise for bids for ambulance.
Second.
Have a motion by Commissioner Sayer and a second by Commissioner Carter that we move forward to advertise for bids for ambulances. Any more discussion? Public comment? Not all in favor, raise your right hand. Motion carried unanimously. Next item on the agenda is 2020 Community Development Block Grant Resolution, CDBG, for the Water and Sewer Authority. This is something that we typically do whenever they're applying for it. Can I get a motion that we approve
So moved.
this resolution?
Second.
Have a motion by Commissioner Carter, a second by Commissioner Teasley. Any more discussion? Public comment? Not all in favor, raise your right hand. Motion carried unanimously. Item 13D, there's nothing in, I'm sorry, item 13C, skipped over it. There's been a lot of talk about our constitutional rights being under attack. And we've all received a lot of phone calls about certain ones, specifically Second Amendment rights. And we have asked our county attorney to draft a resolution of support of our constitutional rights. At this time, I'm going to ask Mr. Gordon if he would read the resolution that we have prepared for consideration for adoption tonight. So, Mr. Gordon, I'll turn the floor over to you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is a resolution of the Hart County Board of Commissioners. We, the people of the United States, in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility, provide for the common defense, promote the general welfare, and secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and our posterity, do ordain and establish this Constitution for the United States of America. So begins, with those words, the Constitution of the United States, the single most important document in the history of the American democracy. Whereas 55 courageous men met in Philadelphia in 1787 to discuss, debate, and draft a document which would become the framework for our government for more than 230 years. And whereas the Constitution is the document which establishes three branches of government, legislative, executive, and judicial, each with separate but equal roles in the maintenance of our democracy by ensuring that no one branch of government has dictatorial power. And whereas the rights given to each American are enshrined in the first 10 amendments, which we know as the Bill of Rights. Whereas each of those separate amendments contain fundamental principles guiding our government and guaranteeing to every American the rights of freedom of religion, freedom of speech, freedom of the press, freedom to assemble. And whereas these amendments also guarantee to each American the right to bear arms, the right to a public trial by jury of their peers, the right to cross-examine witnesses and to have counsel for his or her defense, the right to be free in our homes from unreasonable searches and seizures, the right to be free from cruel and unusual punishment, and other significant rights. Our Constitution also guarantees our absolute right to vote, the right to equal protection under the law, the right to be represented in our government, and the right to life, liberty, and property. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the government of Hart County, Georgia, expresses its thanks to those brave souls whose writing became our Constitution, and that all Hart Countyans be encouraged to read and become familiar with all parts of the Constitution, and that all join in the defense of our Constitution from all attack, foreign and domestic, forever. And should you adopt it, it will be so resolved on today's date.
Could I get a motion that we approve this resolution?
I make a motion we approve it and be known as pro-constitutional county.
Second.
I have a motion by Commissioner Sayer, a second by Commissioner Carter. Any more discussion? Public comment? Not all in favor, raise your right hand. Motion carried unanimously. We all need to sign that before the night's over. Moving on to item 13D. I put this on the agenda, discussion concerning possible alignment of board and authority appointment dates. Right now, we have multiple boards and authorities that we appoint citizens to serve. And all of the terms are not aligned. I think just from a housekeeping standpoint, it would be wise that we start looking at trying to do these. One in particular, the Water and Sewer Authority, we're going to have to make an appointment here in the next month because that term will start March 1st. There'll be two positions. I just think from our housekeeping standpoint, making it easier for the staff, that particular one will take a legislative amendment in Atlanta through the state legislature because it is an authority and it was established with local legislation. I think it would be appropriate that we start working towards or getting the process started. We don't have to take action on this tonight, but think about getting the process started to start getting these all aligned so that all our terms run from January 1 to December 31st. Mr. Gordon, you want to elaborate?
Mr. Chairman, it could be, I don't really have in my mind when the terms of the Industrial Building Authority or the Airport Authority run. They may already be consistent with a yearly appointment. But as you pointed out, the Water Authority stands on its own, and some of you have asked me why it is a March appointment. And as best I can recall, I believe that it was given the time that the Georgia legislature adopted the legislation that enacted the Water Authority. That was in late February of 1990, I believe it was, and then amended in 1992. And in order to get folks on the fastest, they said these appointments would start in March and run through March years later. So it's certainly something that it seems like a very simple fix for the legislature, and I don't see why anyone in the land would have any objection to it.
Okay. I just want to put that out there for everybody to think about. We need to quantify which ones will need to be looked at, and we can take action on it in the next meeting if we decide. But I just wanted to put that out there to think about, because I know it'd make it a lot easier on Luana and Terrell about trying to keep up with these appointments. So. Okay, that being said, we move into the public comment section. If somebody would like to come and address the board, if you'll come to the podium and state your name. Anybody for public comment? If not, can I get a motion that we go into executive session for personnel, real estate, and litigation?
So moved. Second.
Have a motion by Commissioner Carter and a second by Commissioner Teasley. All in favor, raise your right hand. Motion carried unanimously.